Hello guys, and welcome to today's video. I'm so happy that you are here, and I'm so happy that you are supporting us and Alyster. And before we get into the video, I'm actually going to start off the video with a clip of Alyster while he was having a seizure. We obviously are filming our days all the time, so it's been really easy for me to catch his seizures on camera. I actually have a file that has a whole bunch, and if there's any way that I can help spread awareness on this type of seizure, that is what I'm going to do, because these type of seizures go undiagnosed all the time, and I can totally see how. I can see how we kind of dismissed it for over a year actually, and I think probably even longer. But I'm gonna hop right in and I'll do a voiceover so that I can kind of explain what's going on, just so you can kind of see what the seizure looks like, and so that you can know what I'm talking about when I am talking about his seizures. So let's hop into that clip. I'm going to show this clip to you all the way through, and then I will replay it slower and explain things. Alyster, you a magic trick.
So we're going to put the ball in. And now say hocus pocus and close your eyes.
Okay, hocus pocus. What's wrong, Bella?
Nothing. I need to. Then close your eyes and say hocus pocus.
Okay. Hocus pocus. So he does a couple rapid breaths right here, right before, and his eyes kind of go blank, and that's usually when I know he's about to have a seizure. It's very quick though. In this next clip, you're going to see we are talking about what's the meaning of Christmas. I was asking him, and then he goes blank as well. And again, this is a quick one. I haven't caught any of the more 5 to 10 second seizures on camera yet, but this is still a pretty good example. And you can see that afterwards, he's kind of confused, and he remembers a cut that he had from a couple days ago.
It's about Jesus.
What's about Jesus? What, Bubba? What's wrong? What were you just saying, though? Do you remember what you were just saying? We were talking about what Christmas was all about. Here I was trying to sneak in and record him as he was singing and being cute. And then you'll see his face go blank right about here. And his eyes kind of do this thing that they always do, kind of roll. And it takes just a moment, and then he's going to get back to singing right there like he was. Hey. Those are all the examples I'm going to show you today. If that's helpful for you, please let me know. Now you can probably see why these type of seizures go undiagnosed all the time, because it may just look like your child is spacing off or not listening to you, but that is not the case. The last couple weeks, I've had a lot of people asking what's going on, what's the new news about Alyster's seizures, and to be honest, there isn't going to be much new information, as we don't meet with the neurologist until the end of January, but I do have a little bit more that I can update you guys on and just keep you at the same pace as we're going. And I do want to say, before I even get into this, that we appreciate you guys so much. We appreciate the prayers and positive thinking our way. It means a lot, and it actually does make a huge difference in our daily lives. So, like I said, Alyster doesn't get to meet with his neurologist until the end of January, and he's actually really lucky that he got that appointment, because from the sounds of it, you usually have to wait 6 to 12 months, yes, a year, to get into the hospital where he's going to be going. I thought that was insane and crazy, but his doctor said that his case is titled urgent and that he needed to be seen within a month. I'm really, really happy for that, but at the same time, that part made me a little nervous, because I was just like, wait, I thought these seizures were like not dangerous at all. Why is this considered urgent? But I think that, you know, they just take it serious. It's a child with seizures. Whether or not his seizures may or, you know, may not be dangerous, he hasn't actually got to meet with a neurologist, so we really don't know any of that right now. We just know that he has absence seizures. You know, we don't know anything more until he meets with the neurologist. So something that I want to mention that I want to change up from what I've been saying, I keep mentioning that these seizures are not dangerous and they are not life-threatening. The more I am researching and talking to other parents, that is actually incorrect. These seizures can be life-threatening and they can be very dangerous. Because Alyster has absence seizures, or any child who has absence seizures, that is going to put them at more risk for different types of seizures like tonic clonic, which are otherwise known as grand mal seizures. He has more potential for something called SUDEP, which is basically the seizure version of SIDS, where a child has a seizure at night that then makes their heart stop and they die. There's a lot of things that we can do as parents, though, to take precautionary steps to make sure that our child is as safe as we can control. And thanks to Rosalind from the Parents of Children with Seizures Facebook support group, because she has actually been taking a lot of time to help educate me and help make sure that I pass on all of the correct information when I am trying to make people more aware of epilepsy in children. So I want to make sure to continue to give you guys the most accurate information that I can pass on. This news was a little hard to take in when I realized that these seizures are much more dangerous than I was thinking. But at the same time, I want to be as realistic and do what I can to help the matter, and that means that I need to know everything that I can about these seizures. Which is also why it's very important to treat these seizures and to get them under control as quickly as you can, whether that be through medication, through a natural oil, through diet. The goal is no seizures. When I first heard about these type of seizures, I read on the internet that these are not dangerous, they are not life-threatening, children grow out of them, it's normal for kids to have these. That is all actually incorrect, and that's basically like old knowledge that is continually being passed on. And so I am here to hopefully pass on correct information. That does make sense that they would get him in so soon. I have personally been struggling quite a bit with this. It's been really hard for me just to accept the fact that Alyster may not live an exactly normal life. And when I say that, I don't mean that he's not going to be able to do all the things that he wants to do, but there is a chance that he may not be able to do things that make his heart race and make it hard for him to breathe, like sports, because hyperventilating and like really heavy breathing does trigger these seizures. So that's one thing. And then the second thing is medication. If he continues to have 15 to 20 seizures a day, we may really have to consider putting him on medication. But of course, we're going to look into all of the options. We're going to look into the most natural things we can do, and we're going to avoid whatever we can, of course, but we're not going to really think about any of that or decide on any of that until we do meet with his neurologist to know exactly what's going on. One thing that has helped me quite a bit is a support group that I joined on Facebook. And so if you are here because your child has the same type of seizures or a different type of seizures, I highly recommend checking out this group. It's called Parents of Children with Absence Seizures, and Rosalind is one of the admins, or she is the admin for that group, and I have to say that she gave me such a warm welcome. She messaged me the second that she let me in that group, and she was just so kind. She shared the story about her daughter who has had seizures and actually ended up having a brain tumor. She has an amazing story, and she really has been great. So I want to say thank you to Rosalind for just being so great and showing me a lot of comfort and explaining things to me as best you could. And then I have actually connected with quite a few people in that group. One is a girl named Katie, who actually lives pretty close to me, which was crazy, and her daughter, I think it's daughter, goes to the same hospital that we're going to be going. And so she had an idea of who our neurologist was and said she heard really great things about him. So that was really, really great. But the other thing that came along with joining a group was seeing the negative side, I suppose, of these seizures. Reading stories about kids who are having a really, really hard time with their seizures. Reading stories about bad side effects to the medications that Alyster may possibly be on. Reading about children having a really hard time finding a medication that doesn't make them suicidal. And that's not exaggerating. In this group, I have learned a lot of scary things. And I think a couple of my close friends and family kind of suggested, like, maybe don't check that group out so much then if it's going to make you, you know, really emotional or sad or scared or have anxiety. But the truth of the matter is, I want to be really realistic about this. I want to know what the possibilities are. And while I want to stay positive, I really kind of want to be as ready as I can for anything that may come along for Alyster. So that's why I decided to, you know, continue being active, but also pulling myself back if I need to. So one other thing that's new, I touched a little bit about in our recent vlog, is that I started tracking Alyster's seizures and realized that he was actually having a lot more seizures than I thought. Most days he has about 15 to 20 seizures. And if you remember from the past videos, I've kind of mentioned that these seizures, it's not a typical seizure that you may be thinking of. It's more like Alyster kind of spaces off. He loses a few seconds. He can't hear anything while it's happening. He can't really do anything. He can still like move his hands or maybe like move slightly. But like for instance, the other day he was walking and he had one while he's walking and he kind of slows down. And then when he comes back to, he's kind of confused for a second. Another example is like if he's doing something, if he's playing with a toy and he has a seizure during the middle of that, when he comes back to, or like when he's done with this seizure, he's kind of confused for a second and he's like, wait, why do I have this toy? And most of the time he remembers. Or if he's in the middle of a conversation, he obviously stops, and a lot of times he will repeat what he just said after his seizure, or he's like, wait, what was I talking about? He's said that a lot of times. So it's definitely hard, but I feel like tracking his seizures has helped me a little bit because I have learned a lot of things that do trigger his seizures, and one is his sleep. If he's tired, he tends to have more, or he tends to have a cluster of seizures together. Another thing is if he's hungry. I noticed that they happen a lot more when he's hungry. So that has at least helped me out by knowing that I need to be on top of making sure that he's fed, and if he doesn't have those times where he's like super hungry, then I feel like it's going to help decrease the amount of seizures. So anything that I can do to help, I am going to do, obviously. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I want to touch on, but I think that's probably all for now. There's probably not going to be an update until after his appointment, so it'll probably be like the beginning of February, depending on how quick I get to filming after his appointment. But again, I just want to thank you guys so much for your support. It has really helped me get through the days, especially on some of those days that were a lot harder for me. Just reading the nice things that you guys have to say. Mostly on Facebook, I interact with you a lot over there, but even here on comments or messages, wow. So yeah, so thank you guys so very much. I am definitely going to be relying on that support throughout the time. And if you do want to follow me on Facebook for, you know, more updates and whatnot, the link will be down below. And I think that's all. So I'm gonna say goodbye, guys, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye.